Jalen Brunson. It was real. It was never cap. They actually got him for a little
Wow.
bit less than people said. 4 years, 104 million. I'll let you go first here, and then I'll say what I need to about Jalen Brunson.
Well, I think he's a nice player. I remember we debated we'd rather have Brogdon because of the price. Everything has price has to be factored in with all these guys. He did average 16 and what, like 5 last year. Yes, that is not great. But he did play with Luka, and Luka has the ball most of the game. But Brunson did really go off in the first round. I really didn't want to pay this guy over 100 mil. I really didn't want him because I don't want to be stuck in mediocrity because that's the worst place to be in the NBA. If you think about the sports, well, it's so much easier to get out of mediocrity if you're in the NFL, the MLB, because MLB you could just spend whatever you want unless you have like a cheap owner. Because the MLB, the Yankees were 80 and 80 that one year or whatever, 82 and 80, and then they signed some people and their farm system got better and they instantly became a contender again, right? So it's much easier for teams like that to get out of mediocrity. And the NFL, I mean, the Saints, remember they went like 7-9 3 years in a row, and guess what? The next year they draft Kamara, Michael Thomas, and had Lattimore all in the same draft, and then they become like a 12-win team and a Super Bowl contender. So in NBA, it's so much harder because all the good players are gone before the top 10. Let's be realistic. All the future all-stars are mostly gone. You get outliers like Jokic, obviously, and Draymond and Middleton, people like that. But that doesn't happen often. If you're the Knicks, why are we're shooting for the play? And I'd rather be bad. I'd rather be really bad and play our young players, or go all in. I guess they're trying to go all in, but it's Jalen Brunson. It's not like they just traded for Donovan Mitchell and just rolling the dice and maybe can make an East Finals or something. This is a guy who's good. He's not great, so they're gonna be a fringe playing team. I don't really want that. I'd rather be in the Pistons position where they just they have all young players and they're just letting everyone play freely. I'd rather be you rather be the Pistons or the Warriors. The champions are one of the worst teams.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with any of that.
Because the cap is so hard. It's so hard to draft well in the NBA. NFL is so much easier. NHL, MLB, it's so much easier to get your team better instantly without making so many trades. In the NBA, think about how mediocre the Hornets have been for 10 years. I mean, they were crap with Kemba when they won 7 games, but they've been a fringe playing team the last couple years. I mean, Rozier, they have nice players, but they're not superstars. It's not Kevin Durant. And they have the 18th pick every year. How are you supposed to get better adding just a random role player to your team?
Right,
so
and the only time they made a big step to getting better was drafting LaMelo, and that was horrible.
And now they're getting better, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't disagree with any of that. The one thing I'll say to that point is, if you're just gonna be bad forever, you're just gonna be trapped in this hole. The Knicks have been trapped in for a long time, where they
aren't bad right now.
They're at the bottom of the league and they get the 4th pick. They're at the bottom of the league. They get the 7th pick. These things just happen over and over again.
They have to draft. They also have to draft the right player when they're in the top 10. They drafted Knox over Shea or someone.
Yeah, Nil.
You also you can't be the Sacramento Kings because they've been bad for 15 years. But they drafted Keegan Murray this year. They keep drafting the wrong guy at their pick.
Yeah.
But I feel better about
another thing. You can't.
But why do I feel
you can't predict where you're gonna land. You can't predict who you're gonna draft. You can't predict who's gonna get taken above you.
Yeah,
you're just stuck with the. I mean,
it's
literally,
so hard to get out of
you're
poverty in the NBA.
What happens to you?
Yeah, it's so hard. The Thunder have been bad for a couple of years. They could be bad for the next 3 years, and it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, but they drafted the right players, though.
Well, yeah, if Chet doesn't become good, they're just set back another year. That's why it's so impressive.
Here's what I think about it.
Well, hold on. That's why it's so impressive what the Warriors did. They drafted people not in the top 5 and became a dynasty. They actually developed everyone. They got out of poverty by hitting on every pick. It's 3 years in a row, pretty much 3 or 4 years in a row. That's impressive.
Yeah, they were bad for a few years and then won the championship again.
Yeah, retooled.
So they figured it out. Here's what I'll say about Jalen Brunson, and I had a big debate with this in the Pick a Side group chat with Joel. So Joel, if you made it to this point in the show, you're welcome on any time.
Yeah,
I'll go
sorry
on Pick a Side anytime.
if I got you mad by us saying you copied us, but
and we'll hash it out there. It was a fun debate to have though. But basically, what Joel was saying was he loves Jalen Brunson, and he doesn't see why people are getting so mad over the Knicks signing him. And I mean, I basically said what you said, where you're adding
nice,
a guy that
but what's it gonna do?
It doesn't do very much for your team other than prevent you from being god awful. That's really all it does.
Even without Brunson, I don't think they were gonna be god awful this year.
No, probably not.
With the
But
players,
at least gives you a hope of making the playoffs. I mean, what is this team ceiling? Making the playoffs and not being in the play-in, like a 6 seed, 6 or 5 seed is the ceiling, absolute pinnacle of the season for them.
7th seed probably, yeah, 6th, 7th.
Yeah, so they'll shoot for the play-in and it'll be fine.
And then they'll get swept in the first round, or if they might lose in the play-in because the Hawks and Hornets are better than them to me.
Right, so I mean, it doesn't do very much. When you look at the landscape of the East, which is becoming very good, they really only have a shot to replace the Nets, who made the playoffs last year. I mean, that's really it. The Hornets, they're going to get maybe a little worse because Miles Bridges is not going to come back to them pretty much no matter what, it seems like. So they'll lose a decent player there. But other than that, one thing about the Hornets and the Nets falling apart, all the other teams are going to be good again, and if not as good, better, because the Hawks added DeJounte Murray. These teams are adding new players. The Celtics are getting even better. The Sixers, the Bucks are starting with the Heat, are looking to add Kevin Durant. Like the East, nothing is going to disappear in the East when it comes to
and
the playoffs.
You have to expect maybe the Magic or Pistons get better with their rookies too. I'm not going to be better than the Knicks, but they're still going to be better.
Competitive.
Yeah, more competitive.
So adding Jalen Brunson for 4 years...
That puts us in the play-in for 4 years, unless RJ becomes a god or something.
Yeah, we were talking about, what is Jalen Brunson? I called him a good starter, and he got very offended by that.
He's not an all-star. He hasn't made all. I rather have Darius Garland than him, or some other point guards in that.
Right, and we talked about what position is Jalen Brunson on the Knicks? Is he the best player? Is he the second best player? And Joel admitted that Jalen Brunson was the third best player on the Knicks. So if you're signing a guy for $100 million to be the third best player on a team where the guy you're saying is the second best player isn't even an all-star yet,
that's
and
not good.
And Randall is an inconsistent player who had an All-NBA year and then was very inefficient last season and wasn't able to be the player that he was, it's not a good look for a big three.
Well, maybe they're thinking long-term. Maybe they think Randall can rejuvenate and RJ can be an all-star next year, because the best scenario for this team would be that Randall go back to All-NBA and RJ an all-star, and then Brunson your third guy for $100 million, and he's a good player. He's a good third option.
Right, that's why I said the pinnacle of their season is like the 5 seed, if that happens.
Yeah,
if you have like 3 all-stars as your big 3, I mean, sure, you're going to be fine, but like we talked about it again, could Jalen Brunson be a part of a championship team? And we agreed, everybody agreed that the answer is yes, but who is your 1 and 2? He's not a 1 and 2 player.
It has to be like Kawhi and Paul George. It has to be like 2 of the top 10 players probably.
Right, 2 all-time players have to be the 1 and 2.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving,
a championship move. So basically, it goes back to your point of just the Knicks are not going in any direction. They're treading water. They get a little better.
I don't want to tread water. I hate it.
By adding Brunson. And you kind of just see what has to happen. I mean, I think we would be a lot happier if they added Brunson and then got
Donovan Mitchell
different player to be their number 1, like a Donovan Mitchell. I think that would make a lot of people a lot more happy.